Hey YouTube, what's up? It's Ryan here. Today I'm going to be talking about what it takes to become a chef. A lot recently I've been talking about culinary school and what to expect when you're going to culinary school, but today I wanted to get into the nitty and gritty about what it actually takes to get in the industry, what the industry is like, and what to expect as you start working. So I wanted to first talk about what the culinary industry is for. Generally, a lot of people think, oh, I want to become a chef just because they like food or like the idea of food or like eating food. But cooking and eating actually has a bigger separation than what most people think. Just because you like to eat food doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be always eating nice food at all times. So understanding the difference between enjoying to eat and enjoying to cook. Because if you have a hard time cooking for yourself at home and you just never enjoyed that or never enjoyed cooking for other people, you might not have a great time in a restaurant. Especially not when you're on your feet for 10 to 12 hours a day in some of the more tougher settings. While yes, you can have 8-hour jobs and you can have jobs that are a little bit more lenient with your hours and have paid breaks and all that other stuff, that doesn't mean that you're gonna enjoy every second if you just don't like cooking in general. So that's probably the first thing you should look for. Generally with kitchens, because it is such a demanding job and it really requires a lot of mental and physical focus, generally people who choose this job either really need money or just have a huge passion for it. Cooking as a profession doesn't really pay a lot. Most people that I know get paid around $35,000 to $45,000 a year just as a line cook, which is barely enough to afford living in Vancouver. So it's really a tricky situation when you're thinking about pursuing your passion, but at the same time, your passion doesn't pay very well. And to put it in perspective, there's a lot of other jobs that can pay the same amount that doesn't actually require you to be there for such long hours. You don't need to be on your feet 10 to 12 hours a day without breaks and still get paid the same. Retail jobs will give you a boring yet stable income, and you don't really need to have any experience for those either. So it's really a give and take of like, how much are you willing to sacrifice your body for something that might not even come to fruition? And that's where the aspiration part of the is the cooking industry right for you question comes into play. And it's how much do you want to be a chef, or how much drive do you have in your life force to be able to get to the end product and have your own restaurant or whatever your personal goal would be. And if you're unable to find your direction within the culinary industry of keeping yourself motivated to continually learn and continually grow, then you might not be able to find a position that's right for you. And you might be better off at a retail job at Costco, somewhere that has benefits and paid breaks, like dental, healthcare. The culinary industry has almost no requirements to entry, so a very low barrier. So pretty much you can be a high school dropout, you can be an ex-convict, you can be, a university graduate with a full master's, and you're gonna come into the job with the same amount of requirements. And maybe not everybody's gonna become a 3 Michelin star restaurateur and own multiple properties and make millions. Likely, most people that work in kitchens are gonna end up working in kitchens for a long time and not making significantly more than when they started, which is a very sad thing because of how many people enter the industry because of their love of food. And on the topic of finances, a lot of places actually pay you per day or a salary, so it doesn't matter how many hours you're working, you're just getting paid per a schedule or per a year or per day. And that can actually be kind of a loophole for the company because they don't have to pay you that much. They're able to reduce your pay and say, oh, well, it kind of works out to this number, when in reality, some days you're gonna be working more than that, and on most days you're gonna be working that minimum. So it gives you a consistency of a paychecks. You're always gonna know how much you're gonna get paid, but at the same time, it doesn't matter how many more hours you work, you're never gonna get that overtime because it's a salary. And if you're here after all that, I didn't scare you away, so you're definitely ready to enter the workforce and become a chef. So let's get into how you can get a job as a chef. So let's talk about the difference between a chef and a cook. So the chef is actually the person in charge of the kitchen. So he's the one doing the ordering and organizing the schedule and doing a lot of paperwork behind that and organizing the team to follow a current goal. And then underneath that, you'll have a sous chef and a lot of line cooks. Line cooks will be varying in stages from working your sauce station, which cooks the proteins, your veg station, which will cook the base for your entrees, and then your garde-manger section, which will be your appetizer, cold side, and occasionally desserts. And the sous chef is actually gonna be in charge of the kitchen while the chef is not there. So basically like a second in command kind of thing right underneath the chef. So if you don't have any cooking experience in a professional setting, you're probably gonna be applying as a cook or a line cook first. It takes a long time generally for somebody to become a executive chef or a chef of a restaurant, having your own restaurant. And by no means does culinary school advance that at all. So that's kind of where my debate of is culinary school worth it. Keeping in mind that culinary school gives you a foundation when you enter the restaurant, you still will probably start at the same position, which will be the bottom, and you'll have to work your way up continually. While everything that you can learn is on the job, and you can continually, and you are able to like gain an apprenticeship underneath different chefs. That doesn't mean that culinary school will give you a immediate sous chef or immediate executive chef role. You're still gonna have to learn your way up. Now with that being said, if you've been applying to places as a line cook and you're still not receiving any bites on your applications, I would highly recommend starting off as a dishwasher. Now, a dishwasher role is a little bit underrated because you're able to experience the setting of the whole kitchen and understand the flow of service without actually touching it. So you get a little bit of an outsider perspective. This is what actually was recommended to a few different chefs to me, although I started off on the line cook position. Many of the chefs that I worked for started off as a dishwasher. So don't think of a dishwasher role as a blank dead-end job. Think of it more of a way to gain a personal connection with the chef and tell him directly, hey, I've been working, I want a role in the kitchen. I want to just cut your Brussels sprouts. I want to peel your potatoes, peel your carrots. Just actually getting your hands off using a vegetable peeler or a knife will be faster into the kitchen than waiting for a line cook job to open up. If you show that you have some skills and ambition, the chef is going to promote you faster. So if you end up applying to a lot of the higher end places, a few chefs might ask you to do a stage. Now this is actually a day unpaid. So you're not going to be getting paid for the time that you spend at the restaurant. You're going to be volunteering in order to show off your skills. So if you don't have any skills, don't do a stage. They're just going to waste your time and you're going to waste theirs. If you have experience, it might actually be a good way to get your foot in the door, show them your experience, show them how you know how to cut onions or peel carrots or maybe even clean ling cod or sable fish or whatever the protein is. If you're able to do something expertly in a stage, you have a higher chance of being able to get a job. So at the end of the day, a chef is not looking for somebody that is highly experienced. They're not looking for somebody that is going to be perfect every single time. The best thing to come into a kitchen with is a good attitude that wants to learn. Come in ready to work 15 minutes early, full availability, like being able to work at any hours. You have to want it enough. You have to show the chef that you'll do whatever it takes for the kitchen, and then that's how you get in. And that's how they'll train you and that's how they'll teach you. Yeah, it's physically demanding, it's tiring, and I'm not gonna scare you out of it, but I'm gonna say it's rewarding. So yeah, folks, I hope this video gave you a little bit of insight of what the cooking industry is like and what to expect if you're applying for a job and how to get in the industry if you're really looking for it and you're really confident that this is for you. Anyways, if you have any questions, you can post them down below. I'll try and answer them this time because this is a talking video. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time and peace out.